Hey everyone, and welcome to Deep Time 101. I'm your host, and today, we are going on an epic explainer field trip. You can totally forget the standard yellow school bus, because we're exploring the chaotic, explosive, and honestly cinematic 4.5 billion year history of our home planet. We're going to witness exactly how Earth transformed from just a dark, empty void in deep space into the incredible, vibrant, life-filled world we know today.
Okay, let's dive right into this. I want you to ask yourselves, class, what if you could press a giant rewind button on the Earth? Like, what if you just held that button down, reversing through all of history, past the dinosaurs, past the very first oceans, all the way back until you hit total, absolute darkness? What exactly would that look like?
Well, here's our syllabus for today's explainer class. We've got 6 major acts to get through. Act 1, Birth of the Solar System. Act 2, A Fiery Colliding World. Act 3, The Great Global Rainstorm. Act 4, The Explosion of Life. Act 5, The Ultimate Reset Button. And finally, Act 6, our tiny part of it.
All right, let's jump straight into Section 1, the birth of the solar system. So buckle up, class, because we're traveling back to a time of complete pitch-black darkness in deep space, way before our solar system even existed. No planets, no comets, no sun, just the quiet expanse of the universe. But what's really fascinating is that everything we know starts with a nebula. A nebula is basically a massive, swirling, expanding cloud of gas and dust. Think of it as this spectacularly colorful cosmic nursery just floating out there in space where millions of stars are constantly being born. Now, right at the center of our swirling solar nebula, gravity starts acting like this giant cosmic vacuum cleaner. It's pulling countless rocks, gas, and dust particles together in these huge, glowing collisions. The heat and the pressure just keep building and building until, boom, intense explosions create our sun. And sweeping right around that brand new sun, more of these molten rocks are continuously merging, crashing, and sticking together into a growing, completely fiery planet that we now call Earth.
Which brings us to Section 2, A Fiery Colliding World.
Let's jump right into this era where early Earth is essentially a giant ball of molten lava. It is a completely hostile, terrifying, and yet kind of mesmerizing place. Imagine this fiery world millions of years after it first formed. You absolutely wouldn't recognize it. There are actual rivers of magma flowing rapidly across the surface, and volcanoes erupting literally everywhere. And adding to all that chaos, giant asteroids are just continuously crashing into the planet. It's like an endless, high-speed, cosmic game of bumper cars, generating explosions so massive you could easily see them glowing from deep space.
So you might be wondering, how did we get our cosmic sidekick, the moon? Because actually, it wasn't always there. It happened in 3 main steps. Step 1, a gigantic planet-sized object collides violently with the young Earth. Step 2, this unimaginable impact sends billions of pieces of glowing molten rocks flying straight out into orbit around our planet. And Step 3, over thousands of years, gravity patiently works its magic, combining all those glowing rocks together into the moon that lights up our night sky today. Pretty cool, right?
Moving right along to Section 3, the Great Global Rainstorm.
Now things are going to get a bit moody and super wet as our fiery protagonist finally starts to cool down. Earth is about to undergo a massive planetary weather event, and it's a domino effect that makes your worst rainy day indoor recess look like absolutely nothing. First, thick black volcanic smoke completely covers the planet, totally blocking out the sunlight. As the Earth's surface slowly cools, massive amounts of steam rise up everywhere. And then the heavy rainfall begins. And class, it doesn't just rain for a week or a month, it rains for millions of years. This epic, non-stop global downpour is what gradually fills our planet with the vast oceans we know today.
And that sets the stage perfectly for Section 4, the explosion of life.
Okay, so with vast oceans now filling the planet, lightning constantly striking the water, and underwater volcanic vents releasing crucial minerals, the scene is set for the most dramatic plot twist yet. Let's fast forward rapidly through deep time. In the first million years of this timeline, deep in those mineral-rich ancient oceans, tiny, microscopic, single-celled organisms miraculously form. Moving to the second million years, these simple life forms actually evolve into photosynthetic organisms, which begin releasing oxygen into the atmosphere. And this changes everything. The sky turns from hazy to a beautiful blue, the oceans become crystal clear, and by the third million years, complex marine life evolves. We see strange, ancient fish swimming around and giant sea creatures dominating vast, growing underwater coral reefs.
But of course, life refuses to stay just in the water. Following our timeline into the 4th million years, plants slowly begin to spread across the empty land. In the 5th million years, these plants grow into massive, towering forests, paving the way for giant insects to appear. And eventually, in the 6 million years, the ultimate prehistoric bosses arrive on the scene. Dinosaurs eventually dominate Earth, ruling over these lush, incredibly complex ecosystems.
But nothing lasts forever. Welcome to Section 5, the ultimate reset button.
Just when things seem perfectly settled for the dinosaurs, an unexpected visitor changes the course of history forever. A gigantic asteroid enters the atmosphere at an unbelievable speed. The contrast here is truly shocking. On one side, we have prehistoric Earth at its absolute peak. Lush, massive forests, giant insects, and those mighty ruling dinosaurs. But on the other side, post-impact Earth. When that asteroid hits, it acts as the ultimate reset button. It creates massive shockwaves and global firestorms that sweep across entire continents. The resulting dust is so incredibly thick, it completely blocks out the sunlight, causing sudden global destruction. And just like that, the age of the dinosaurs ends in darkness.
Which leads us to our final act, Section 6, our tiny part of it.
Out of the ashes of all that immense destruction, millions of years later, the dust finally settles. The Earth story shifts its focus to mammals, and eventually, class, to us. Just look at this timeline of survival and innovation. Around the year 10,000 BCE, ancient humans appear, agriculture develops, and human civilization truly begins. We jump to 2000 BCE, where great civilizations form, building absolute engineering marvels like the pyramids. Then, a massive leap to 1800 CE sparks the Industrial Revolution, completely changing how we live and work. And finally, we arrive at the present day, surrounded by the modern skyscrapers and technology you see right out your window today.
All of this brings us to one incredibly powerful final thought. Earth's story continues, and we are only a tiny part of it. Think about that, class. If all of human history, literally everything from the very first ancient villages to our massive modern cities, is just a tiny blink in the story of an Earth that now rotates peacefully with thousands of stars above, what do you think the next chapter will look like? Something to think about as you head to your next class.